make out that the BJP is extremely rattled with not only the loss, its loss in the Delhi MCD elections, its loss to us in Himachal, its loss in the majority of the by-elections that happened in December, and more importantly to the massive public, including Nagaland. It is the Congress that has worked towards the integration of Northeast in its development that Nagaland has. There is practically no developmental project that can be talked about, whereas there's so many projects to be talked about during the Congress era.
Welcome to Nagaland TV, the voice of all the people. Today we are here to introduce with someone who is very important and related to Nagaland, and especially he is from West Bengal, but he's from Congress too. So let us introduce Ranajit Mukherjee, AICC, All India Congress Committee Secretary in charge of Nagaland. So we are with him now, and we're going to discuss about what is the political situation of India and plus Nagaland, and especially the Northeast. So sir, first of all, thank you very much for giving your time to us.
Thank you for having me on NLTV.
Yeah. So sir, we would like to ask you a few questions. It will be related to Nagaland and plus Northeast and India itself. So tell us, sir, what is the current situation of Congress and all over India?
The current situation of the Congress is very positive. As you can see that we have had the Bharat Jodo Yatra that Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been leading, but has been walking with 120 permanent yatris from Kanyakumari. As of today, they've entered Haryana. It's an unprecedented 105 days where millions of people in the states that he has crossed and from all the states that he has not gone, that it is not crossing, have participated in. In fact, from Nagaland, our Vice President, Mr. Supong Meren, and the Youth Congress President, Lima, went with me and we met Mr. Rahul Gandhi at Chitradurga district in Karnataka. And Mr. Supong Meren put on the owl jacket on Mr. Gandhi and he walked with the owl jacket, and that was a very proud moment for all of us. Even for states that he is not walking through, the people are excited. You will see, I'm sure you will have been receiving updates or small videos on your WhatsApp groups or your Facebook groups regarding Bharat Jodo Yatra. The people of the country, and I would say in the state also, have been yearning for a change. And the Bharat Jodo Yatra wants to bring people together, reunite a country that has been divided on many lines, and bring about a positive change for the country.
Okay, so sir, as you are saying about Bharat Jodo Yatra is related to bring change, and Sri Rahul Gandhi has been walking. It's almost been 100 days been completed. So sir, would like to ask you that it is not our question, especially related to the ground. So people are saying the government was Congress government was for more than, you can say, long term in India, and somehow. Some of the politicians might be, and the great leaders were already expired, who are not with us now as word, but Congress actually didn't do anything, but they were into corruption and made a corrupted politicians instead of changing the country. So what do you have to say on this?
This is essentially nothing other than a massive communication campaign that the BJP has been continuing ever since, I would say, in fact, from before 2014. When it comes to the real parameters that any country in the world judges itself on, health expectancy, infant mortality rate, your infrastructure development, railways, if you take any parameter from 1947 to today, and this is not just about Congress governments, there have been non-Congress governments since independence, we have moved forward in leaps and bounds. And in fact, the 10 years of UPA, the 2004 to 2014 era, is literally when on all development parameters the country forged ahead. Now, a lot of those that have been spoken about in those years, which have been basically campaigns by the BJP, have just turned out to be whitewash. I mean, even today, even after 7-8 years of government, they have not been able to bring a single case in court to conclusion, which essentially shows that Congress governments have massively done, be it at the state or the central level, have massively contributed to the development of the country and intend to continue. As of today, it shows also, if you take a look in December and what happened across the country, there was one MCD elections in Delhi, there were 2 state elections, and there were 6 or 7 by-elections. The BJP lost most of them. We have gone from being in government in 2 states to 3 states now. And 2023 will be an extremely exciting year in terms of assembly elections, and we plan to be fully in place with these assembly elections for 2024.
Okay, so that means you were saying the Congress will be back into power in 2023 if people wills, isn't it, sir?
No, I'm talking about the national elections of 2024, but yes, there are many assembly elections that are lined up, including Nagaland, of course. Meghalaya, Nagaland and Tripura going together in 2023. Post that Karnataka, post that other states, and we are very positive regarding these assembly elections.
Okay, so which state was recently, in which state did Congress made it up to? And we know that it's most probably Himachal Pradesh. Yeah. Okay, sir. So for that also, I would like to ask how the BJP government was also there, and how difficult, or the say you can say how you had to face them and how people responded, because it's been a long after the 2014 election. You are not in a power now, neither in the center, and most of the states you have lost. So tell us, when you made it through in the Himachal Pradesh, so what was the response from the public? We want to know, because we want to mix it up and we want to match it with the that condition and the thoughts of our people in northeastern states.
It's been a huge boost, for Congress party workers across the country, including Nagaland and even say my Bengal. And more importantly, it has actually showed the BJP, I would say, that constant marketing, constant gimmicks, constant jumlas, I would say, promises no longer work, and if you look at the assembly elections since 2019, other than the last round of UP Uttarakhand round of elections, assembly elections that happened, in most other rounds the BJP has in fact been losing assembly election after assembly election. It may be to a regional party, it may be to the Congress party. And the elections, and unfortunately, the elections that the BJP loses, it therefore tries to use its money power and its muscle power to buy MLAs and form government. So what we have seen before in Arunachal Pradesh in the northeast, for example, and what we have seen across the country in, say, Madhya Pradesh. But northeast, as you said, the Nagaland, the northeast, is very much watches what is happening nationally, and you can make out that the BJP is extremely rattled with not only the loss, its loss in the Delhi MCD elections, its loss to us in Himachal, its loss in the majority of the by-elections that happened in December, and more importantly to the massive public positive reaction that has happened to the Bharat Jodo Yatra. In Nagaland, we did walk in Dimapur and Kohima as Bharat Jodo Yatra also for 2 days. And it was very positively received by the citizens of both cities.
Okay, so sir, that including that, I want to ask, as you said, so tell us, the question we have now is regarding your government, and so we'd like, when the government was in your favor, we have seen that Congress neglected the northeastern regions of India. So what do you have to say on that?
In fact, it is because of the Congress that you could say that the northeast stabilized and integrated. If you take a look at the Mizoram Accord, if you take a look at the Assam Accord, if you take a look at at statehood being granted, to many states, including Nagaland, it is the Congress that has worked towards the integration of Northeast in its development and you would see that it is during the Congress eras that many of the divisions that may have naturally been there have resolved themselves, and people are and the people of Northeast have integrated not only within themselves, within the Northeast, but also with India. And most of the development that you see in the Northeast is basically nothing other than Congress era. In fact, if you look around Nagaland today, I would say literally all the development, anything, the hospitals, roads, whatever you talk about, it's all happened during the last Dr. Jammeh's time. There's practically no development that you see under the current government today. Under the BJP-NDPP government of today that Nagaland has, there is practically no developmental project that can be talked about. Whereas there's so many projects to be talked about during the Congress era.
So, sir, let me add on and let me counter you on this question, sir, which I have asked and now you have replied. So, sir, it has been, what we have seen that as far of now, we are not supporting any political parties, whether not Congress or not BJP or any parties, because we are a media house and we have to be with the people. So I want to ask, as you are saying, the all over development, whatever we see now, it was in the time of Congress only that has made it. So didn't you think, sir, while you when Congress neglected, now when the BJP somehow, in a alliance government, each and every state, so of Northeastern especially, somehow they have been promoting the Northeastern culture more than Congress, and for that also they have founded a ministry to promote the cultures, and that is one donor.
The donor ministry existed prior to the BJP.
Yeah.
The donor ministry existed prior to the 2014 BJP. What you are talking about maybe the promotions, and I'm not denying any good activities that would have taken place. I'm not denying any positive activities that where the people of the Northeast have this thing. But honestly speaking, the reality of the Northeast is that state governments are massively corrupt. And if you especially look at the state that we are in, Nagaland, its corruption is basically what people talk about. Drugs is on the increase. Drugs are entering the border across from Myanmar unchecked via Manipur, via Nagaland and other borders. We are seeing unemployment highly on the increase. We are seeing that the talent of the Northeast, the young boys and girls of the Northeast, after finishing their college and school, having to go to the larger states of India and get their jobs, and there is no addressal with regards to that. You're seeing that outside Assam, there are no major industries that have come in or are planning to come in the Northeast and especially Nagaland. You are in fact seeing greater divisions that are happening in terms of be it between tribes or between community. If you take a look at Meghalaya, and for the first time, in fact, you see two states fighting each other on the border, which has never happened in the prior history of the Northeast. You see Meghalaya-Assam border clash, you see Mizoram-Assam border clash, where you actually have the two state police forces fighting each other. So these are just expressions, of the divisive nature of politics, especially with also the divisive nature of the NRC-CAA politics that was played out prior to 2019, which strongly divided, people in the Northeast against each other, and which you can understand as a postmortem of the 2019 results was nothing other than a ploy to divide people in order to get electoral benefit. So what you see here is, yes, there are regional parties that are in alliance with the BJP, and but essentially they are under the control of the BJP, be it from Guwahati or be it from Delhi, and essentially they are there only to fulfill their electoral ambitions, their electoral goals, not to fulfill the developmental goals of the Northeast. All the promises that were made in the last assembly elections, be it by the BJP or by the NDPP, are not fulfilled today. That is itself example enough to you of the fact that everything that you're talking about is nothing other than a communication or a marketing gimmick by the BJP. But slowly, people of India are seeing through this.
Okay. So tell us, sir, what is the reason that you are not in the power in either of the northeastern state now? You can say most probably, yes, you could be the opposition, yes, obviously in opposition, but you didn't make it to the power and in 2014. So yes, the BJPs are in the alliance with the regional parties. They have formed their government, and even in Nagaland, we had seen that in 2018 election they have formed the government in Nagaland. So what is the reason that people avoided Congress? Now the BJP is leading.
You see, it's not just a question of avoiding the Congress. Yes, we are in a democracy, and in a democracy we will be the Congress party will be in government and will be in opposition. But if you take a look at a prior Arunachal Pradesh government, where the Congress was in power, the MLAs of the Congress government were taken away by Manipur. If you take a look at the communally divisive politics that is playing out in Assam right now, these are not the bedrock of what democratic politics is supposed to be. And the Congress party is very clear that whatever it fights on, I mean, whatever particular state, whatever the issues of their state may be, but it fights on the basis of a secular and a liberal ideological politics. And I would also like to remind you that it is not that the Congress will not be coming back to power in the northeast. We are very in the recent by-elections that happened in Tripura, for example. I think there were 4 assembly by-elections that happened. We have in spite of the BJP constantly attacking our offices in Tripura, beating up our workers, almost killing them, we won one of the by-polls, and we are in a very strong position over there today. In Nagaland, the BJP and the NDPP government, as you well know, we are in this unique situation in Nagaland where the 60-member assembly is itself the government, as in there is no opposition within the assembly. So it is the Congress party that is taking pole opposition position to the BJP-NDPP government. And it is and the people of Nagaland very well know that they have a choice between the BJP-NDPP government, which has not fulfilled any of the promises that they claimed in their manifesto or their election campaign last time, or the choice is the Congress party. And that is what the people of Nagaland will be choosing in the coming elections.
Okay. So as you have said, the people of Nagaland will be choosing in the coming election. So let's go to the topic of Nagaland now. Recently, your party has announced that you will be doing alliance, and you will do obviously if you find any like-minded parties or people or candidates. So what does it mean? Like, sir, we want to know. Have you talked, the state bodies have talked with the central, with this Congress?
As our President, Mr. Theri, has put forward, he is open for a secular alliance, which means that like-minded parties for discussion with us, and he is in talks with other parties, and we are awaiting the response. We are of course open to any alliance that with any party that agrees that the current Chief Minister and the current BJP-NDPP dispensation is inimical to the development of Nagaland, and it is using a lot of falsehoods in order to keep the people from questioning them on the real issue. Where are my jobs? Where is my road? Where is my electricity? So parties that are concerned with that, with such issues as the Congress party is in Nagaland, are absolutely welcome to sit with our Nagaland Congress President, Mr. Theri, and we are welcome to such an alliance.
Okay, so sir, we feel a little bit, without that Congress is scared that they will lose in the coming election also 2023 if they don't go for alliance. Are you left without any option to be rather not choosing with the alliance or going single-handedly?
No, there are 2 options on the table in front of me. I go single-handedly or I go in alliance. Either ways we will be fighting the election. There is no question of being scared. The Congress party is not scared. It is in fact quite positive about fighting the 2023 election. Okay.
So the last question what we want to ask, it is very important and it is also for the viewers. If you come to power and if you are willing to, obviously every political party wants that and wants to be in the seat. We call it as a throne. For you it's a normal seat, but we call as a throne. But what are the new strategies that Congress will imply or adopt to promote northeastern region if you come back to power, and how will you solve the overall situation? As you said, the border issues between 2 states are fighting among, and like we also have the internal fight between in our state also. There are lots of things. If you talk about development, we don't see any development like roads. We don't have any good roads, we can say. So can you
see, the most important thing in politics is you must commit to only what you can deliver. It is when you commit something that you have no intention of delivering that such divisions, such issues take place. If you look at, like, I'm coming back again, that if you go back to the last assembly elections and the commitments made by the BJP and the NDPP, they have not delivered on any of those commitments. That would itself lead to its own set of issues. When you're talking about border issues issues that are there internally within Nagaland or the issues of the Northeast, the Congress is the only party that has a track record of solving these problems. I'm again referring you to Mizoram Accord and Assam Accord as examples of our track record of being able to solve these problems. In fact, in 1984, if I'm not mistaken, 85, sorry, when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi signed the Assam Accord with students of Assam, those students of Assam went back home, formed a party called the AGP, as everybody knows, and formed government within a year. So that means that the Congress party was willing to forego an election. take the chance of losing an election, but commit on what it had promised the people of the Northeast, which is peace, which is development. So, be it the development that we are talking about, we are the party that has the track record in all the states, because we have pretty much been in power at some time or the other in all the states, and what we will promise in our manifesto, when we do launch the manifesto for the 2023 election, I can tell you this much, that we will not write down something that we will not be able to deliver. So whatever is there, the party will ensure that we deliver it over the next 5 years.
Okay. So finally, also I want to ask, this is not from my heart or not from my channel also, but it's directly from the people. As we say, we mostly go and talk and consult with the people. So they are saying that recently people are observing that Congress is going for press conference, lots of press conference, and you can say, why you also Congress party, you can take an example of NPCC, they are promising for good governance and different thing, but what the people are saying is that why Congress party, while they were in the power back in 2014, you can say, and it was more than 20 years in the state of Nagaland. So they didn't do anything at that tenure at the time, but now we can see that the leaders and the party heads and everyone, the nationally, are just bluffing out, and we are being given false promises, and things whichever they promise is not being fulfilled. So can you convince our viewers?
So a false promise can only be made by somebody who's in power. It is when you said we talk about press conference, a press conference is one medium, one way of questioning those in power. And in fact, I would say, contrary to what you're saying, from the people of Nagaland today, who I meet, who I go out on the road, etc., and talk to, in other places, people are actually nostalgic about a time when, all the money for development did not disappear into those in power, their pockets. They are actually nostalgic for a time when a hospital was a priority, when a road was a priority, and they sort of want to come back to that. There has been massive development in Nagaland, in the Northeast, during the Congress era. I do not see anybody here questioning me with that regard. Yes, there are questions of what can we do better, and that is something that people should question us, which is why I repeat that we will question the government of the day regarding what it has promised the people of Nagaland and hold them to it. And we will hold ourselves to what we commit to do in the manifesto that we will lay out for the people of Nagaland.
Okay, sir. So what I have asked to you that about your past tenure, the Congress which ruled the state for 20 years, and the section which say they didn't do anything. So can you can say, obviously there are section which might be they don't like you or the party. So how will you say on that?
See, this is a question that I think those who were in government in the Congress era.
I mean, sir, isn't it important to take that caution also and take it as a some kind of a guidance for your party?
We are ready to take on all people's views and feedback, and I would say that the details, to what happened is something that Nagaland Congress, the leaders were there. But just to go back, and a story that Mr. Theri tells me, our president, when he was power minister, the last power generation that has been added in Nagaland, I don't remember the details, has been added 20 years back. Okay. So there has been no new power generation that has been added for Nagaland since then. So again, the question that basically arises here is that I do not think that people are asking this question. I think what you are talking about is the communication campaign of the BJP and the NDPP, which tries to reach out to people of Nagaland to make them forget, the reality. The reality that it takes me hours to reach Kohima, and the roads beyond Kohima are impossible to travel on. And by the way, I do not say this. I can tell you this as someone who has personally driven, not as a driver, not with a driver, but driven through all the districts of Nagaland. So I have driven through, including all the eastern districts. It is starkly obvious, the lack of development that is there in all the districts of Nagaland. The moment you cross, cross the highway of Kohima, And this is something that that is a question that has to be asked to the current government, not to us, not to a government of 20 years back, because the development that we did at that time is there for everybody to see. In terms of the current infrastructure that exists in Nagaland, it all exists from that era. The question that has to be asked is, what is the infrastructure that are you adding? How many industries are you bringing into Tizit? For example, let us take there's Dimapur on this side, there's Tizit on the other side. What is the new industry that you're adding here? What are the new employment avenues that you're creating for the students, for the young boys and girls of Nagaland, that they do not have to go and work in the Bangalores and Delhis and Bombays and Calcuttas of the country? What is how much power generation have you done for the people of Nagaland, so that we do not have to face these constant power cuts? I mean, when you have power cuts to the extent that staying in Dimapur experience, I can imagine what it is like living in a district in terms of power cuts. What about the blacktopping of the roads, of the district roads? Where is the PMGSY funds going? Where is the Indira Gandhi Awas Yojana funds going? These are the questions that the people of Nagaland want to ask, And whatever you're talking about is essentially the communication campaign that the BJP and the NDPP would like to do in order to cloak those questions that the people would really want to ask.
Okay, so if you say, as you were saying, that this question should be asked by our people, the people of Nagaland. They are asking. So, can the Congress government bring it? And do you think that you will be coming back into the power? And for that also, I want to ask, the people are questioning the leadership of Congress, because they say the person who is leading the party is old to lead, and plus he has nothing to prove. He has given nothing to the state. But you are saying that Mr. K. Terry has given power generation and extra. But what are the things actually? Why people are not being convinced if the K. Terry or the president, whoever might be, has led the government in the past?
Our leadership of Nagaland has the full confidence of the Congress party, the AICC. And I can tell you one thing, not just Mr. Terry, but the entire leadership of the Congress party. In my interactions with them, I see that they are profoundly concerned with the welfare of the people, and they're profoundly concerned and discuss options and solutions going ahead with regards to how can they solve or address the problems that the people face. And the other thing is that as a national party, like I said, our leaders at the state or at the center, we are bound by what we promise. And what we promise is written into a national manifesto or a state manifestos. And our leadership, therefore, when we come to power, will be bound and to what we commit to the people of Nagaland. The difference I would like to point out here is that these questions that you're asking me should rather be asked to the Chief Minister today, that what is the leadership that he has provided over these past 5 years? What is the development that he has provided? How much electricity generation has he created? How many districts has the roads been blacktopped? How much of employment has been created in Nagaland? How many new industries have come up in Nagaland? All these questions are to be actually addressed, I would say, to him, because he is the one who has to now show answer for these 5 years of non-performance. My leadership, our leadership in Nagaland is absolutely eager and ready to take on that challenge and bring Nagaland once more, to the top of the development indices of the country.
Okay. For that also, I want to ask, sir. So viewers, we are with the end of this show, and as you know, we have spoken with the Ranajit Mukherjee, AICC Secretary in charge of Nagaland, and he has also briefed how his party is working, and also how they are expecting their party to be back in the power, and they will, as he said, that they will be fighting against the corrupted ones, and either they are not the corrupted ones. So we want to say, while you choose your leaders, repeatedly I say these things, while you choose your leader, you have to be very constant and open-minded to think who or whom you are choosing for that seat, who can be representing you at that level and can bring a change. So this here, I would like to end here. I'm your reporter Musarraf Ali with video journalist Bendang Sanab Chamir.
Nagaland TV, Sop Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 994 in Global Chapter, and Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Hornbill Digital. For all news and updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and Twitter.